the Knight of Cups. And for some, this may be a connection to a water sign person. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and it may be their sun, their moon, or their rising sign. It's a week that may be very enjoyable. There is a lot of coming and going tied to the emotional, the creative. So it could be a week of visits, of invitations, proposals, offers, holiday. Maybe you're connecting to a charming lover of some sort, starting a new relationship. Because the Knight of Cups represents the ideal partner, your dream. And for some of you, this may be the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams. So you could be connecting to people that tempt you in some way. There could be an element of seduction in your interaction. Others of you, this may be a creative project. It could be a welcome agreement or a meeting that's important. So you may have some victories this week, whether in love or in business or connected to creativity or spiritual matters. Some of you may be dealing with musicians or artists or people who deal with emotions, therapists, psychologists, counselors, emotionally oriented people. Now, the Knight of Cups is very seductive, but he's not necessarily the marrying kind. So you may meet someone who's extremely charming and you feel drawn in, and you somehow convince yourself that you're going to change this person. This is somebody who, very chivalrous, and, you think of moonlit sonatas and candlelight dinners. And so you get seduced by his magnetism, and you start to believe that you can get him to settle down. But that's probably not going to be the case. This is a wanderer, the dreamer, and he may go off on the search for his next conquest. So, this could be fun while it lasts, but it may not last. Although you probably will never forget it. It may be something that is indescribably beautiful, a dreamlike state of romance. So if your future is tied to someone like this, you need to be firmly grounded. Now, there's an impracticality that can come with the Knight of, maybe he's got some good ideas, but does he have the wherewithal to launch those things, these lofty visions? And so you're having to sort out fiction from reality in some way. And maybe that's in your own affairs. Now, in the positive, you can achieve a great deal this week. You get the objectives met not only with putting in the hard effort, but because of how you present, your charisma, your magnetism. And as a result, perhaps you outmaneuver a challenger, outwit an opponent, beat out a rival. You get to win something that your heart desires. It's a week where you may want to try to keep harmony with others, and you're willing to overlook past mistakes, violations, transgressions in the name of harmony. Part of that is using humor to disarm people. And you have an agenda that allows you to stay on track of your plans, your schedule. And part of it is, being intuitive, being insightful, having foresight. It's a week where you're going to get to relax some. Maybe there's some pleasant social invitations, or maybe there's some professional proposals or offers on the table. And for some of you, again, getting back to the romantic nature of a situation, you may be swept off of your feet. Maybe you fall in love with somebody. That may not have been your original plan. Maybe you had convinced yourself that you were quite capable of just having a good time and not going any further. And lo and behold, you're falling for this person, and it's happening more quickly than you expected. And so someone could be very persuasive this week. Now, you may prefer to use persuasion yourself. It's not a week where you necessarily want to be involved in confrontation. So using humor or flattery or compliments may be your way of trying to smooth things over. In the negative, though, it may be difficult to talk your way out of a mistake. People may tend to see through any kind of disingenuous behavior. So you may try to be very charming, and the more you go out of your way to appear that way, the less impressed others seem to be. So for some of you, things may not be going very well, and they may fall apart quickly or fall apart, and you're left scratching your head as to why. There's no real reason or explanation. So for some of you, your travel or your social plans may fall through, and it may be at the last minute. Somebody may cancel. And some of you may find that you're involved in a situation, a connection with someone where not all the cards are on the table. You're not giving up everything, all of the information or how you really feel, or the other person isn't. And so there's a tendency not to be completely honest, to hold something back, to be just a little bit secretive. Now that may be a strategy, because this week gives you that psychological subtlety that actually helps you overcome an opponent or win what you want. But for some of you, there's very little sincerity in a promise, or there's not any real depth to the affection. It's something surface. It's a fantasy where somebody's acting out, or they're saying sweet nothings, and they're literally sweet nothings. So you may be tempted towards some kind of false security. Some of you, maybe you're dealing with people who are fake. They're brown nosers, or this is the lover that's cheating on you, or somebody's trying to swindle you out of something, the habitual liar that you just can't trust. Maybe this is someone who is emotionally immature. They may be a hopeless romantic, but there's not a lot of substance or practicality. And some of you may be dealing with individuals who present one way, but there's really something else going on. So a lot of passive-aggressive behavior, or maybe poor personal boundaries, or somebody who has a fragile sense of identity. They don't want to take responsibility for their actions. And in some cases, somebody is being misleading. They're leading you on. They're being deliberately vague. They're giving you breadcrumbs. They're not telling you the whole truth, or you're playing that role. In the positive, it's a week of agreements. Maybe you have very strong personal appeal yourself, especially to members of the opposite sex. There are new associations this week, new ideas, and part of what helps move things forward is an outgoing personality that wins others over to you, and time you have to spend with others, relaxing, enjoying yourself. So this is a week where you enjoy the beautiful things, the beautiful people, beautiful situations, including art, music, and anything that takes your fancy. But it doesn't take long for you to discover that either you or someone else can become easily bored, especially in the face of a long-term emotional commitment.